Hello everyone, and welcome back to the history of the Jebus dynasty. Last time we looked at the short reign of King Crisky, who took the reins of Sicily only to be killed unexpectedly in a jousting accident during a tournament, with one of his sons accidentally drowning the throne, and the hopes of the Jebus dynasty fell on his lone male heir, King Osborne. Inheriting the throne at the age of 12, Osborne was at least intelligent and comely, but much remained to be seen. What's more, young Crisky rose to the throne while the tournament was still ongoing, having to take his father's place as head of a tournament. In the end, Sheikh Yahya emerged victorious in the joust, besting the Sultan who had killed Osborne's father. Kaiser Popo won the duel, and young Osborne gained a great deal of prestige for holding a tournament that brought in such great dignitaries. Fortunately, at the end of the tournament, one of the stands collapsed. The compassionate young Osborne donated money to compensate the victims. Osborne betrothed himself to Emoni of Auvergne, a minor noble known locally to be intelligent. Taking after his grandfather, Doctor decided to push on the dukedom of Citra by demanding his vassal converts. Vassal refused, and so Osborne ordered Duke Gibril to be arrested. Duke rose in rebellion, Doctor raised his armies, as well as the Knight Hospitalia to assist. The first battle of the rebellion was fought at Lentini and was incredibly one-sided, although Duke Robert was slain in the fighting. The second battle, fought outside Palermo, was equally decisive, and the enemy Duke captured. Doctor banished the Duke from his realm, instead planting his younger son on the throne. Another civil war broke out shortly after, as Osborne tried to forcibly convert the younger son. Osborne's older sister, Hermione, wrote a poem about his great victory against Gibril. Osborne was so taken by the poem that he put it on display in his court. After a 6-month siege, the second revolt of Citra was put down. Duke Muzaffar was imprisoned. Doctor stripped the young Duke of his titles, instead granted the lands of Citra to Detwin, his current marshal and ally. To honour his father, Osborne built a jousting grounds at Palermo. January 1117, Osborne came of age. A strange person, on the surface he was known to be just, compassionate and humble, but he had also garnered a reputation for being an intricate web weaver. With his regency over, he could count on his good friend, his sister Hermione, and was now able to move forward, expanding the realms of Sicily. His first action was making good on his betrothal to Emoni. They married that very month. Osborne quickly learned how to apply his good looks both to further his dynasty and his schemes at court. Holding his first court as the newly crowned king, Osborne was approached by Abd Allah, who had the rightful claim to the throne of Jebus, and promised if Osborne put him on the throne that he would serve as his vassal. Osborne, happy to expand his realm, jumped at the chance. Following through with his promise, Osborne invaded Jebus. Though attacked on the landing grounds, his forces were victorious, the Sicilian heavy knights cutting down the enemy archers. By October of 1117, the war was over, and in return for his favour of putting Count Abd Allah on the throne, Doctor demanded his conversion. Osborne also marked the beginning of his reign by travelling to the Holy Roman Emperor for the marriage between the Emperor's daughter and Count Ordorf. The trip was quite a grand undertaking, but Osborne met many new people there, becoming friends with both the Khurasanid Sultan and Count Heinrich. The long journey also led to Osborne finding his love of travel. In June 1119, Osborne's son Mirka was born. The Jebus dynasty once more had a male heir. In an unexpected turn, Mads, Osborne's brother-in-law, who had been married into the family with the hope of gaining the minor kingdom of Hungary, ended up inheriting the throne of Denmark. Still matrilineally married, any of their children would inherit the claim to the throne. Wanting to keep the expansion of his realm going, Osborne declared war on Tripolitania to enforce Abd Allah's claims on the region. The war was brief, but expanded the Sicilian Empire. In 1122, Osborne held a grand feast at the urging of some of his vassals, and notably became good friends with Abd Allah. In 1125, Doctor commissioned a shield, what turned out to be a fantastic wall ornament was completed, Wolfhelm's shield, notably with the family's Be Kind motto emblazoned on the front. Although he felt very guilty about it, Osborne did send spies to the Pope's court and learned that the Pope himself was a non-believer, blackmailed the Pope, gaining a strong hook on the head of the Catholic faith. In 1126, Osborne set off on a pilgrimage, aiming to gain himself piety and improve his standing among the church. But disaster befell the Jebus line. He decided to take his young son Mirka with him, and young Mirka fell overboard during a storm. The curse on the Jebus dynasty seemed to continue. Osborne did reach Jerusalem just after Christmas of 1126, earning himself the title of pilgrim. While visiting the sites of the Holy Land, Osborne's Archbishop Umberto decided he wished to stay in Jerusalem. Osborne granted his wish, and the Archbishop settled into the life of a simple monk. In March 1127, Osborne started the journey home. Upon his return to court, Osborne was greeted by another petitioner asking to gain him land, this time the throne of Alexandria. Once again, Osborne jumped at the chance to expand his realm, especially into the wealthy lands of Egypt. Once again, Doctor raised his own forces as well as the Knights Hospitaller, and the forces set off in October. As the knights set off, Osborne's sister Tsunda came of age, wishing to give away some of his less profitable lands. Osborne granted her new husband Peter the cities of Mergda and Satfura on the Tunisian coastline. Ever the patron of the arts, Osborne commissioned a crown, and Pellegrino's crown was completed while the troops were on the way to Alexandria. Battle of Canis al-Halid was joined on the 12th of February. Closely fought struggle, but Jebus's troops were routed. After receiving news of the defeats, later that night, Doctor heard a commotion in the Queen's room. Entering the room, he found someone attempting to kill the Queen, but managed to wrestle the attacker down. In 1129, the Pope called for a new holy war, this one for the Kingdom of Aragon. Osborne pledged his troops to the coming battle. Time was now a major concern, as Doctor needed to win the war in Alexandria before his troops could march on Aragon. Mourning the anniversary of the loss of his first son, Doctor wrote a poem for young Mercer. Leaving his ally King Mad's troops behind in Alexandria, Osborne set sail, chasing down the Alexandrian forces who had just landed in Palermo itself. A daughter was born on the 7th of June 1129. Young Lithium was now heir to the realm. Battle of Palermo was joined in August. Another close match between the two rivals. However, this time led by the commander, Grand Master of the Hospitalia, and joined by King Mad's forces, the Sicilians were able to push to victory. Second battle at Melfi once again saw the Sicilians hold the field. It was then, while Doctor was still fighting the wars in Alexandria, he heard news that the Crusade had been called. He would now face the choice of continuing his current efforts to defeat the Alexandrians or turn his forces towards the new Holy War. But for the story of that great battle, we will have to wait until next time. Thank you for joining me, and farewell.